Joining us, we're still discussing the topic, impotency in men. There are a lot of questions to be asked. There are a lot of issues. If you're a Nigerian woman in a home who've had a problem with bearing children, you will know there are a lot of answers, questions, but no answers most of the time, because the Nigerian woman is held responsible. The African woman is society holds the woman responsible if there seem to be no children or a child in a relationship. But this morning we want to let you know that the doctors have told us is a 50-50 thing. Most times when you take the step to go to the hospital to find a solution to that problem. We still have doctors in the house. Dr. Mebawande is still here. And our new doctor in the house, Dr. Joel Akonde, is still in the house. So we have questions yet to ask. Romelia has a question she wants to ask the doctor.
Yeah, two questions in one, actually. Doctor, ED, erectile dysfunction, is it only diagnosed only at the point of sexual intercourse, or is it at any other time?
Right. Let me take it from childhood, that as a boy, that the boy is growing, even the mother notices that this boy at age of 5 will have erection when he wakes up or is about to go to toilet. And that continues when he leaves the home until perhaps in adolescence he will continue to have erection, even dreams. We call it wet dreams, and have ejaculation and that kind of thing in adolescence. And by the time he gets into marriage age, now that he's highly responsible sexually and have kids, then the erection and the desire begins to decrease. Remember that sex itself is a matter of desire. So it functions by sight, by smell, by touch. So if the man is not having sex or desire for sex, he might not have erection. He doesn't have the desire. It's not the first thing in his mind. It's not the last thing in his mind. Just doesn't want it. He's not going to have erection. So at the time, he might not know that he's already suffering from erectile dysfunction. So at the time of sexual encounter, he certainly discovers that he cannot hold it. Now, a lot of us in Nigeria goes about without knowing that we have high blood pressure. The same thing for diabetes. So until they come to crisis, there's a problem, has fallen, there's a sudden stroke. So he discovered that he has this disease. Meanwhile, erectile dysfunction had also been playing at the background without him knowing, because it's not an everyday issue. He doesn't really care, or he doesn't aware that there's an underlying problem.
Okay, so now that we've discovered this, Dr. Mebawande, what kind of tests, if as a male one discovers that, I've tried this once, and on Tuesday and on Thursday it happens like this, and he's a conscious person? Because from research we discovered that about 45% of people living with that dysfunction don't even treat it. They don't do anything about it. So what kind of treatment can one go for? The test. What kind of test can one run to the hospital and conduct to find out?
I think before we go to the hospital, basic observation is so important. Most men, even to middle ages, they have what we call the strengthening of the penis in the morning. We call it nocturnal tumescence. So yes, that's they wake up with hard-ons.
Okay.
Consistently. Now, for a man, you need to be observant. If you find that this thing is reducing and you're not seeing that kind of thing, you need to ask yourself what's going on. Even before you have challenges when you try to consummate, make love, so to say. Now, it's important. You need to do that observation clearly. Then, secondly, at a time when a man sees as a problem that now I'm not having erection as I should have, or I cannot really, sustain erection, I cannot ejaculate. When the person gets to the hospital, of course, the first thing they will do is to do the questioning, ask questions, do basic examination, put him, and then the easier one is to actually go for the blood pressure and check, the blood pressure, because there are figures that are attached to some of these things. your blood pressure, the sugar level, either random or fasting blood sugar level to rule out diabetes, the cholesterol level, because the more the cholesterol in the body, the likelihood that there will be narrowing and hardening of the arteries, which can actually lead to erectile dysfunction and cause some other problem. Then again, the body mass index. These are figures that you need to look at. Because it's we observe that the higher the body mass index, the more the person is prone to a lot of risk. So, and of course, erectile problem is one of the things. So you need to keep the body mass index within a range, between 24 and 30, so you don't get overweight. Because that can actually be a contributing factor to erectile dysfunction. So now, if the doctors look at all those things and still find out that there's a problem, there are other, high-level tests, okay, which will actually try to look at the patency of the vessels here and there, because there are some diseases that actually the vessels going into the man organ are narrowed, and they cannot actually, receive blood appropriately. So, these are the basic test is what I've just mentioned, but the need basis will determine which other tests you can then go on to do. But having said that, it's pertinent that for every one of us, we should take active role in actually, promoting our own health. If you are getting overweight, you need to be, create a reasonable targets to weight reductions and fitness. You need to be able to check your blood pressure, at home. So you need to be able to walk to a center, and check your sugar level. And then, the basic health check, as you age, there are what we call age-specific health checks that you can do at different ages to look at what is deficient in your body or what you need to shape up. So that's the way it goes.
Observation.
Okay, now there's another thing. We were talking about the age limit, we've discovered now that younger people suffer from ED. Now, a lot of Nigerians abuse drug. There's drug abuse in the society. Younger boys, men, if you go to Igbodo, you'll see there's something, it's an awakening call for Nigerians. And I get this information all over in our universities, in Delta State, in Lagos State, all over. A lot of Nigerian youth, male especially, are drug addicts. And believe me, for those who have been able to open up, it has become a serious problem. So medically, you will say it happens when one advances, but now there is a problem within us. More younger people have this problem. So what do we do about it? How do we go about this?
Again, adolescent sexuality is something we need to take seriously, because adolescence is a critical point, a good transitional point from childhood to adulthood. There needs to be managed properly, because if it's not properly managed, most of the results you see in adults are actually a product of some misapplication or abuse at the adolescent level. Now, I want to sound a bit of caution here. Sexual experience is not Olympic game. You don't have to say, okay, yes, I have to go on and go on and go on and go on and pick as many women as possible. But that's very peculiar to even younger people. And then the second thing is that you also observe the fact that if a young guy has to make love to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ladies within some days, even the ability to sustain that erection will actually also be reducing. There's a diminishing return, kind of,
Naturally.
Naturally. There's a diminishing return, naturally. So again, it should be, because the desire aspect is so critical, to even, consummating the sexual relationship. We should always keep that desire aspect, at the top chair, by not over, indulge in those kind of lovemaking, so to say. Then besides, that the young people are prone to all this music that glamorizes drug, that glamorizes use of all sorts of things, all sorts of behavior, glamorizes alcohol. Now everybody's rapping and talking about all sorts of hard drugs, talking about alcohol, high alcohol content, brandies, whiskeys, and that's what they used to sing. And of course, you see small kids say, have you heard what this person sang about? And gradually, this culture, they imbibe this culture and they go to nightclub.
They start to experiment.
And overdrink, use drug, and all those things. So again, that is where it is. For me, the adolescent education should really be incorporated into adolescent health education should be incorporated into the secondary school curriculum in such a way that when they are transferred from secondary school, by the time they get to university, they will have known how not to abuse their body in that wise.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Shakespeare also wrote that alcohol will increase desire, but decrease performance. And it is absolutely wrong to say that alcohol will help me to perform sexually. By the time you get there, alcohol is a depressant. But by the time you get to the sexual encounter, you're already sleepy and tired. So alcohol is not going to help. Now, according to World Health Organization in 2015, 14%, you do the math, of Nigerians, of 180 million people, indulges in one kind of drugs or another. You can now imagine that majority of those ones will be in those under 50, under 60, adolescents and young people. And the belief that this drug is right, is going to help me, is not. And mind you, marijuana itself will increase prolactin. And I mentioned that prolactin will decrease sexual potency. So if you're taking marijuana, you're effectively killing your sexuality. Therefore, the key thing to take is that young people or anyone taking drugs, for example, alcohol, we don't seem to recognize it as a major issue to go to the doctor for. But there's a psychiatrist. If you don't want to say psychiatrist, there are counselors. You should seek help. You can't do it on your own. It's when you don't go far until the whole thing is damaged before you seek help. Seek help. Insight is very good. I have a problem, I need to see a doctor. Doctors are so trained to be so confidential and private that whatever you say is discreet. They're not going to tell anybody. So it is your problem, and it's between you and your doctor.
Now, Doctor, I need to say this here. I traveled somewhere, and I had to go get something in a pharmacy shop just across the road from where I was staying. And a young guy came into the shop to buy a drug with a venom and some other drugs. And after he left, I looked at his age, and I had to ask the pharmacist or the shop owner. And he laughed and said, "My sister, if I tell you the things that are going on around this place, most of the guys, this is the drug I sell and I make so much money. They cannot be with your girlfriends or whatever without having to first come buy this drug." Now, what is the implication of this? We're talking about seeing doctors, but people walk into the shops and they get this drug. What is the aftermath effect, the long-term effect of this?
Well, I think the healthcare sector needs to address this issue very seriously, and we're very concerned as doctors. In actual fact, under the law, no prescribable drug should be given out without a prescription by a competently trained doctor who signs it and authorizes it. But we live in a society where there are leakages, lots of leakages. In fact, it's as if the whole control is not in existence. And anybody can go out and buy the most potent drug without a doctor's prescription. And therefore, when you now talk of sexuality and talk of sexual drugs, which any human being engages in sex or sexual intercourse. So the seller, I don't want to say the particular profession, but the seller overrides the law, overlooks the law, overacts the law, and just gives out the drug. It is fundamentally wrong, and it encourages drug abuse. So I suppose that the healthcare sector, my colleagues in the pharmaceutical industries and the pharmacists, we need to really enforce the rule that no prescription drug should be given out without a doctor's authorization.
No, Dr. Pandesi.
The other thing is that you go around Lagos, around bus stops, everywhere. You see everybody, hawking, having the whole shed.
Herbal mixtures.
Not just herbal mixture, of aphrodisiacs. Okay? You can easily, get to one aboki or one anybody, and you see all these drugs with different names, being displayed, In fact, there's one around me I used to call her the doctor of Buratashi. You understand? You just see those things displayed, and then we are looking at it that there's no real way to actually, rein in those people and prevent, the sale of those things, because they don't even need to enter the pharmacy. That one is even lucky. You are lucky to have seen one in the pharmacy on the street. Inside the buses, you see these people peddling and selling all those things that normally, are not supposed to be seen outside. And they have all sorts of brands and mixture. At the end of the day, what happens is that it goes to their body, I'm not surprised that we're seeing quite a lot of number of kidney, damages in this country, because at the end of the day, a lot of this drug will take in will hurt some other things, especially when they are properly composed. So this is an issue. And then the other thing I want to mention is that we talk about erectile dysfunction in terms of male, female, okay? But even in those people that are gay, they also experience it. It's not limited to heterosexuals.
Okay.
Even the homosexuals actually experience it. Unfortunately, good enough in this country, we don't talk about homosexuality. So, and it's something that they have to hush hush. You must not speak about it. So, by and large, we need to, like Dr. said, there are a lot of leakages in the health system. A lot of leakages. For me, honestly, we're yet to have health system. We're yet to have a health system. And this is a key area we should look in if we want to prosper as a nation.
So as we round up, how do you prevent? Is it preventable?
Well, it is preventable, but largely by one, Dr. did mention that exercise, reduce your weight, eat well, and those three will prevent a lot of diseases, not just erectile dysfunction. So, if you have a regular habit of exercising, as well as be conscious of your weight, stop smoking, alcohol. If you are depressed, seek your doctor's help. If you are taking drugs, seek counselor's help or doctor's help. If you are diabetic or there's diabetic history, your family or high blood pressure family history, go to the doctor. We are there to help. It's not, we are not charities, but we are business, we are professionals, but then at the same time we are there to help. And then we will do as much as possible to educate, and if there is an established diseases, we are there to also treat.
All right.
Thank you so much for coming. We want to thank our guests this morning for being a part of today's show. We've been really enlightened on this peculiar...
Please,
yes?
we need to fight ignorance and superstition.
Okay.
When the man is not having erection, he tries to look for a witch and then run to a church or a mosque or whatever for all sorts of things. Again, honestly, seek the advice of a medical doctor. So.
Okay, that is the final word from Dr. Mebawondu, Dr. Tui Mebawondu. We want to thank you once again for coming on the show. And we want to thank Dr. Joel Akonde for being our guest this morning. Thank you so much for your wealth of knowledge. Thank you. So the show is not over. We're still going to go back to the package on a Wedu that we're bringing to you when we come